My dear listeners, this is an original sci-fi story I wrote for you. If you'd like to support me, just subscribe to the channel. It really helps the growth. Charlotte Evans stared at the training equipment specifications and felt sick. The Predator Development Institute had hired her to design enhanced educational modules. But these weren't teaching tools, they were torture devices. Isolation chambers, aggression stimulators, punishment cages for cubs as young as 3. "This is what you use?" she asked Director Krav, a rigid Varthen administrator. "Standard protocols. Predator cubs require firm discipline, stress conditioning, and individual resilience training. These are babies. These are future apex warriors. Weakness must be eliminated early." Charlotte reviewed the facility data. Developmental delays in 60% of cubs. Severe trauma responses. 3 cubs had stopped speaking entirely. "Give me 6 weeks. Let me redesign your equipment." Krav's mandibles clicked skeptically. "To what end?" "To prove you're breaking them, not training them." Week 1. Charlotte submitted her designs disguised as enhanced neural development modules. The isolation chambers became sensory integration pods, soft, enclosed spaces filled with textured materials, adjustable lighting, and calming sounds. She labeled them focus training environments. The aggression stimulators became collaborative construction zones, modular building systems requiring teamwork. She called them strategic problem-solving arrays. The punishment cages became weighted sensory blocks and crash pads for safe rough play. Kinesthetic learning stations. Every torture device reimagined as a toy, but her reports emphasized cognitive development, neural pathway optimization, and tactical skill enhancement. Krav approved them. He had no idea he'd just authorized a playground. Week 2, the equipment arrived. 4-year-old Vex, a traumatized creche cub who'd bitten staff twice, was the first test subject. He approached the sensory pod with deep suspicion. "Get in," ordered the handler. "Focus training." Vex entered reluctantly, found soft fabrics, gentle lights, quiet music. His rigid posture slowly relaxed. 20 minutes later, he emerged calmer than staff had ever seen him. "Weird," Vex muttered, but he returned twice that day. The construction zones proved even more effective. 8 cubs gathered around the modular blocks, designed to require cooperation. No single cub could build alone. The pieces needed multiple hands. Senna, a Drakai cub with severe aggression issues, grabbed for blocks. Another cub, Kess, had the piece she needed. "Give it," Senna snarled. "Module requires collaborative assembly," Charlotte said smoothly. "Kess, can you hold that piece while Senna attaches the connector?" The cubs stared at each other, then awkwardly cooperated. The piece clicked into place. "Excellent tactical coordination," Charlotte praised. "That's advanced strategic thinking." By week's end, cubs were voluntarily working in teams. Week 3 brought scrutiny. A military observer, Commander Drax, arrived for inspection. He watched cubs playing, no other word for it, with Charlotte's equipment. "This is recreational activity," he said coldly. "Not training." "Watch closer," Charlotte replied. She pointed to Vex in the sensory pod. "He's learning emotional regulation, controlling stress responses. Critical for combat scenarios." She indicated the construction zones. "They're practicing spatial reasoning, physics, and teamwork. Building structures teaches the same cognitive skills as tactical planning." She gestured at cubs using the crash pads, wrestling, tumbling, playing rough. Controlled physical play develops motor skills and teaches them to modulate strength. They're learning when to use force and when to hold back. Drax was unconvinced until Charlotte pulled up data. Cubs using her equipment showed 78% improvement in stress management, 83% better problem solving, 91% increase in cooperative behavior, 56% fewer aggression incidents. How is this possible? Because these aren't punishment tools. They're developmental aids. Humans discovered millennia ago that young brains need enrichment, not trauma. We call it play, but it's actually sophisticated neural training. Charlotte opened a historical file showing Earth military academies. Your species trains warriors through breaking cubs down. Humans train warriors by building them up first. Play teaches failure recovery, strategic thinking, and team cohesion. It doesn't prevent aggression, it teaches controlled aggression. Week 4, the breakthrough came. Senna, the most violent cub, built an elaborate structure with 3 other cubs. Took 2 hours. When finished, they stood back admiring it. A handler accidentally knocked it over. Old Senna would have attacked. Instead, she took a deep breath, a technique learned in the sensory pod, and said, "We can rebuild. Better this time. I know what went wrong." The cubs rebuilt together. The new structure was more stable. Charlotte documented it carefully. Trauma response redirected into problem solving. Aggression channeled into determination. That was the goal, not eliminating predator instincts, but giving cubs tools to control them. Week 6, Charlotte presented to the Institute's board. Your old equipment produced traumatized cubs with poor cognitive development. My equipment, which you approved as enhanced training modules, is producing cubs with superior metrics across all categories. She pulled up comparison data. Cubs using her designs outperformed traditionally trained cubs in every measure, including combat simulations. The secret? I designed toys disguised as training equipment. Every piece teaches through play. Director Krov's mandibles clicked furiously. You deceived us. These are recreational items. These are developmental tools. And they work better than anything you had. Your cubs are stronger, smarter, and more stable. Isn't that what you wanted? Commander Drax studied the data silently. In the border wars, our best units weren't the most brutal, they were the most cohesive. Cubs trained through fear fought alone. Cubs trained through teamwork fought as packs. He looked at Charlotte. You're building pack cohesion through play. I'm building whole warriors, not broken ones. Yes, they're predators. Yes, they need to be formidable. But first, they need healthy development. Earth's elite forces discovered this. Soldiers with childhood trauma have higher failure rates. Soldiers who learn teamwork through play have better unit cohesion. She showed footage of cubs collaborating, self-regulating, problem-solving together. You wanted apex warriors. I'm giving them to you, but I'm doing it the human way through enrichment, not punishment. Through play, not trauma. 1 year later, the Predator Development Institute had been transformed. Sensory pods, standard equipment. Construction zones in every facility. Crash pads replacing punishment tools. Cubs thrived. Developmental delays dropped 89%. Aggression incidents down 94%. And most remarkably, cubs advanced to elite training programs 40% more often. Other institutes demanded Charlotte's designs. She gave them freely with one condition: stop calling them training modules. Call them what they are, toys. And understand that play isn't weakness. It's how young brains optimize. Vex, now 7, worked on an advanced engineering project, a skill traced directly to his time in the construction zones. He still used the sensory pod when stressed. "Miss Charlotte?" he asked one day. "Why are humans so smart about cubs?" Charlotte smiled. "We're not smarter. We just learned earlier. Thousands of years ago, humans discovered that childhood should build strength, not break spirits. That play teaches more than punishment. That healthy, happy cubs become better adults than traumatized ones." She watched cubs playing with her equipment, wrestling on crash pads, building in construction zones, regulating in sensory pods. "Your people forgot that warriors need childhoods too. I just reminded you, with toys disguised as training equipment." Vex grinned. "Best trick ever." "Best trick ever," Charlotte agreed. Sometimes the most revolutionary act was the simplest: letting children play. Even predator children. Especially predator children. The galaxy's fiercest warriors deserve childhoods. Charlotte had proven it, one toy at a time.